Hey everybody, this is Kelly O'Black with this week's Scraplift Saturday video. This is our inspiration board for the week, and the colors here were not really inspiring me, but those paint swatches, they reminded me of a striped paper that I thought I had by Chamel from her Little by Little collection, and that's how I use this particular inspiration board. This is a layout I lifted. It's by Tina Gale, and I love the two photos and the banners, so I'm going to lift that. I'm going to use a lot of the Chamel Little by Little collection here, so you'll see that as we go. That striped paper there that inspired this whole layout is called Bear Hug, and it's a really cool color striped wood grain pattern. I have two photos here of a brand new table on our deck, so that's kind of what the whole layout is based on. I wanted it to be sort of summery feeling, so I wanted to use the bright colors, which is kind of why the colors didn't inspire me, as I really like bright colors. So the grays were a little bit hard for me to think about how to use those. So I just translated that inspiration to another way, which is kind of a good lesson for everybody. Just because there's colors in the mood board doesn't mean you have to use them. You can use one single item for it to inspire your scrapbooking. That yellow paper there is called Cultivate Joy, and again, that's Little by Little. I'll tell you if it's not Little by Little, because everything pretty much is. But that is called Cultivate Joy, and I liked how that yellow brought out the little bit of yellow that's kind of in the trees here, and the little bit of yellow light that's in the layout itself. So now I'm using these two pieces of paper. That white paper with the little triangles is called Seeing Magic, and then that aqua camera paper is called Happy Progress. And I'm going to use those two papers to create the banners. So I cut them both down to about the size that I thought that I would want them to be, just kind of spacing, looking at it so that the spacing looked right to me with the photo sitting on top of them. And then I have this blue polka dot paper, which is going to take the place of that large piece of paper in the background on Tina's layout. That blue polka dot paper is called Forest Friends. And I like how that separates off the photo and the banner strips itself from the busier kind of background. I think it really grounds the photos really nicely. That was one of the things that attracted me to using Tina's layout, actually. And I believe that I actually did put that layout in my Pinterest boards for scrapbook layouts. So that'll be linked in the description below. You can go there, and there's lots of different layouts that I've linked there. All right, so now I'm kind of looking at how I'm going to lay these pieces out. I have that floral piece there, and I want to make sure, I'm going to use that for my journaling, so I want to make sure that that's sitting and covering up some of that space in the photo on the left side. And that floral wreath journaling spot is from the Clever Little Fox paper. It has all sorts of, I believe they're 3x3, or they might be 4x4 too. I don't remember. Let me think. I think they're actually 4x4 cards, square cards, and then you can just fussy cut those out. So they'd be really cool for journaling and also for like a card, that kind of a thing, as well as if you have square Project Life spots as well too. So I'm looking at those pieces. I want that floral spot, journaling spot, to cover up the square little joins there so that you're not seeing the edge of the aqua and blue paper on the bottom. I thought it was a little bit too distracting. So I'm just looking at this in regard to that, how that's going to look. And then the only piece here that's really cut into the banner is the white piece there. Now I can see myself using this design in lots of different ways. It would be fun if I just turned this 90 degrees right now to the left, like it is right there. That would be a really cool layout if you had two horizontal photos. So I'm going to keep this layout in my pocket, or in my back pocket, kind of to use over and over. So thank you very much, Tina. All right, so the other thing I did is I'm cutting just little pieces of foam tape here, and I'm just popping the banner, the fishtail parts of that banner up on that, and that's just going to give it a nice little lift to the layout. On Tina's layout, she had a piece there that I believe was a scallop border punch. I'm not going to use a border punch here, but what I am doing is I'm using a piece of washi tape from the sticker book. It's from the sticker sheet from the Little by Little collection. And I'm just deciding here how I want what I want to show to stick out there. So the piece wouldn't have been long enough to go across, so I just cut it, and now it extends out and it looks like it goes all the way across. And that's an easy little trick. And then what I did here is I'm going to take that piece up on top there, and I'm going to actually use it to ground an accent cluster. So I'll have that quote washi tape, or really sticker border. I guess it's a border sticker. It's not really washi tape because it's not translucent. But I'm going to have it at the top, and then again also at the bottom of the photo to ground the photo. So it just brings the cluster together there. All right, so now I am going to my die cuts here, and I'm going to bring out some florals just because I have that floral journaling spot. This is about my brand new deck outdoors with the new patio table, and then we have quite a few pots of flowers and things on this deck. So when I think of this deck, I think of the flowers. You don't really see those in these photos yet, but the important thing is for me, that's what that deck says. So I'm thinking about that. That ephemera comes from, the die cut ephemera comes from the die cut shapes from Little by Little. And then I found that little Seek Beauty piece, die cut piece as well too. And I'm going to pop that up on some foam tape here. I don't really have anything else that's black here, but I like how it kind of grounds the bottom of the photos. Would be the best way to explain why I kind of use that. And it works nicely with I can't tell for sure if that tape is navy or black. It's very close, but it looks almost black. All right, and then I did use, die cut flowers on the top cluster and then the top right cluster. Now I'm kind of looking at other smaller things that I could add in, and there's quite a few phrase stickers in the sticker book from Little by Little. So I'm going to choose a couple of those. The top one says, the top pink one there says sparkling, and I'm going to find another one, an aqua one in just a minute, that says that's the spirit, which is kind of silly, but we're decorating the deck, so that helps. And you can see one flower pot in the deck, but now in these photos, but now that I've done all the planting, and we've done all the planting, there's a lot more flowers there than that. So I'm just kind of looking here for other things that I can use on the layout. I thought about adding these flowers in, but they're see-through stickers, and they just didn't look right. You see me tapping my fingers there as I'm trying to figure out what else I can do. So I'm playing around here with a couple of the phrase stickers. I want something else up there, and when I see this turquoise one, I like that one, and it's really more the color there than the phrase that's the spirit that attracted me to this, just because that brings some of the turquoise up. There's turquoise in that camera paper, and then again bringing it up into the flower cluster. It's one of the reasons that I use the pink sparkling there, because there's quite a bit of turquoise or aqua up in the tape up on the top left, but there really wasn't a lot of pink, and I wanted to bring the main colors from the layout into each of the clusters. Hopefully that makes sense to you. It just helps bring everything together a little bit more. Now I'm going to my puffy stickers from the Little by Little collection, and I'm choosing a couple of different things here. So I'm playing around with a little camera there and trying to get that right. And then I find this bird, and I'm going to switch places here with him. And the reason that is just off this deck, we have some bird feeders. So that kind of made sense to me to put that on here, because that's one of the things we do when we sit on that deck is we watch the birds. And then I'm going to add another camera, a yellow camera down on the bottom to bring some yellow of that circle there. And then I added another camera in the top left with some blue. And then lastly, I added a little purple flower in the top right cluster just to help get another color in there. The purple appears in the tape, so I wanted to help it appear somewhere else. So it appears in the bottom tape and the top left tape, and now I have a little purple in that cluster. So it makes sense, again, bringing everything from the layout, all the elements together here. And it also then, those puffy stickers are acting as getting some dimension into the clusters, because I really didn't pop a lot of these pieces off. I did with the top floral die cut and the Seek Beauty, but the floral cluster on the top right with the red and pink flower there didn't have a lot of dimension to it, other than I put the That's a Spirit sticker up on something. All right, so now I'm going to be working on my title, and I'm using my wax paper here just to put the title down. I'm finding a line here. I could have actually probably put it, if it was a shorter title, on this line right here, but I have an idea. I want it to sit up there. There's that nice big blank space on the navy polka dot paper, which I left there on purpose when I put the other 2 layers of paper together with the banner. I definitely left some room for a title up there in my head. Oftentimes it seems like I'm using titles at the top. It just makes sense to my head. Part of it is that I'm kind of linear, that kind of a thing. So often mine do appear up there, but they appear in other spots as well too, depending on what makes sense. But I'm definitely a very linear scrapbooker, so they're often there. And I'm only going to use one font here. Sometimes I'll blend a couple of different fonts together. This font is Amy Tangerine Memento. So it's a really kind of cool aqua, almost, it's not puffy, but it almost looks puffy. It's almost like a kind of a rubber sticker, but not quite. It's kind of a neat font. And I like it because it's thin here, and so that helps me get 3 words into what is a fairly small space. And then the other thing that I am going to do, when I kind of looked at where this was going to lay, I'm going to make sure that the R in summer is touching that leaf on the right side in that cluster, and that is joining then the title to the cluster. Now I could have overlapped it a little bit more, but I didn't want you to be able to see the edge of the leaf die cut around the letter, I guess. I wanted it just to the letter to barely cover it, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. And I'm just kind of going backwards here. I put down the one letter in each of the words so that I could figure out how they would lay out. Okay, and now I have those done, and here's where I'm going to play around a little bit with that R to get it in the right spot, at least the right spot to my eye. And now I'm going to the enamel dots from the Little by Little collection, and I'm going to just bring in some of the colors from the layout. So I grabbed an aqua dot to go down by that yellow camera there. I have a navy dot and a up by the camera paper. I'm going to grab a pink dot right for there. There's a pink dot and an aqua dot in the top right collection there. And then on the top left, I have an aqua and a pink as well too. And I kind of thought about using another one, but it was too much in that top right corner. So there's 2 dots in the top left and top right, and 3 dots around the floral cluster, just because that's a little bit of a bigger cluster there. So now I'm just going to do a little bit of journaling here and talking about how I was able to put the table together. My first attempt did not go well because they missed a kind of an important thing in the directions, so we had to take it back because I thought there was something wrong with the table. There wasn't. It was just they missed something important. So once I had that direction, it went up really fast. And then we did get some different chairs than the ones that are appearing in here, but this was what we began with. Hope you guys are all well. Here's a still shot and a couple of detail shots, and we will be back with another video again soon. Take care. Bye.